Okay. All right, let's get started. Went through and did a couple of problems on integration by parts. I don't know if we did e to the negative x. Did we do e to the negative x? Okay. We did e to the x. All right, well, I'm going to do e to the negative x. The only reason I'm going to do e to the negative x is because people freak out when they see that negative. So, all these two jiggers are getting real low. No, because they'll look at you like a redhead stepchild. No. Bed. I want y'all to do this one. I want you to integrate, just like the one we did the other day, x e to the negative x dx. Ultraviolet minus voodoo. Make sure you turn them pages so we can all hear it.
My bad.
That's all right. Just don't have no crazy woman coming in and say, "What the hell are you doing?"
That's fine.
It might be next.
Yeah.
Yes, Manasseh.
He looks, she sounds hideous. What are you wearing? Khakis. You know, the jealous spouse is usually jealous. Why?
She's the one.
Because they're the one cheating. Always remember that. And it's the Russians' fault. Oh, did you see the latest announcement by our president, Donald Trump, by Exxon Corporation?
Last thing I saw was the wiretapping.
Oh. He announced this morning that Exxon is investing $45 billion in the U.S. in new jobs, paying over $100,000 each job. I'm gonna go work for Exxon. And they need a math degree person, probably a bunch of welders. For that pipeline, I don't know.
What about building the wall?
What?
What about building the wall?
They're getting started on that too. That's gonna take a while, though. Mexico complained about the northern wall, but what does Mexico have in the south? A southern wall. Wonder why? Wonder why they don't want a northern wall? I guess so they can get rid of all their criminals. He was right on that. He was right. They don't keep their prisoners down there. They just take their prisoners and say go north, and they don't have to fool with them. Damn Russians. All right, so what is U going to equal? U is equal to E? No. U is equal to X. Therefore, du is equal to 1 dx. And arbitrary marks all over the board. Another arbitrary mark. Let's see, dv is equal to e to the negative x dx, and you sit there and stare at that for 15 minutes, right? D is equal to negative e to the what? All right, pull it in ultraviolet minus UV. Now this problem is not going to depend on your calculus. This problem is going to depend on whether you can deal with what? Well, it's not calculus. So positives and what? Negatives. And I forgot to get in the room. That's somebody get me a jacket coat and put it in a Yeti, please. Bring it up here. I figured by the time I finish it, it'll be breakfast time. Now somebody will complain that I said Jack and Coke, and there's people coming, there's teachers coming on campus with red Solo cups, and they don't even, nobody said anything about that. I know why I didn't get a drink this morning. I got hog tied right when I walked in the lobby this morning. That's why I didn't get a drink. Had another meeting about the Polycom yesterday. Some people. So y'all gonna video? Are y'all gonna record this? Nah, we're just gonna do a whole class on the video. We're not gonna record it.
Just want to see if they teach.
Yeah, just want to see it teach. I'm not gonna record it for the students to watch again if they need to. No, that'd be just a waste of time to record something simultaneously while you teach it. How do you do that? These people have degrees too, advanced degrees. Ultraviolet minus voodoo. Now, why do you need to worry about your positives and negatives? Because this negative comes out, negative x, e to the negative x. This negative comes out and makes this a what? Positive. And now you've got just taking the derivative of e to the negative x, which will make this positive a what? As y'all said, and don't forget to add what? The plus c. Now you could factor out a negative e to the negative x, that's fine, dandy, I don't care. Alright? The main thing is don't forget the plus c, because they'll mark the problem wrong if you don't put the plus c. I wonder if that's Mr. Williams. Nope. Somebody just emailed.
Make sure it's capital too. It's lowercase, so like,
Yeah. Good gosh. You know, emails are supposed to be, kind of brief. 2 pages to read. All right. Let's do nerd. X times 5 to the x. Now there's a rule you may have to drum up on your natural logs here. 5 to the x, that's a glorified exponent. X is a variable exponent, so it's going to involve the natural log. So just reminding you. You may have forgotten it. You know what I came up with last night? All these Democrats are running around saying Russians this, Russian that, Russian this, Russian that. How long has President Trump been in office? Going on 2 months, right? If the Democrats had anything on him, what would they have done? They would have already done something. So that takes care of the Russian thing. And also, what's his name? What was the first general that he fired because he lied to the vice president? What was his name? Flynn. They said that they said that they're not bugging Trump Towers, but where was Flynn when they recorded his call to the Russian ambassador? Where was Flynn? Where did he make the call from? Trump Towers. So if they're not recording Trump Towers, how did they know that Flynn made that call? I think the Democrats are just full of. Thank you. And not all Democrats. Some of the Democrats are sitting back and just shaking their head. These are the left-wing lunatics that are patronizing all these idiots with the hats on and the things on their heads. Yeah. Y'all seen those things that they're wearing on their heads? I'm not going to say what they are, but female anatomy. Lunatics. I thought about that last night. I said, if they really had something on the president dealing with the Russians, they would have exercised that by now.
Hoping that doesn't last here for 4 years.
I don't think it's gonna wind off. Those lunatics. Well, yeah, it could, because the lunatics that are protesting, they don't have a job. They're living in the basement of their mother and daddy's house, so they don't have a job. Now, the U is going to equal X. Therefore, du, and I usually draw an arrow out there to show which way I'm going, is 1 dx. Please no coughing. Just lay down and do the funky chicken. dv is equal to 5 to the x dx. And here is your rule that you may have forgotten. Anybody remember it? What is the antiderivative of 5 to the x? Yep, you forgot it. 5 to the x over natural log of 5. And that's true no matter what you have. When you have a variable exponent, then the antiderivative of variable exponent is going to be, if that was 6 to the x, then you would say 6 to the x over the natural log of 6. Huh? Yeah, a lot of people don't. I don't remember going over it when I took it. I had to look it up myself. Huh? It's all my fault. You failed your Unit 2 test. Why? Because Hubert didn't cover the material. Oh Lord, don't bring up the Unit 2 test. Oh gosh, everybody's brother is complaining about the Unit 2 test. I'm starting to see why. At least some people are being dependent on those answers a little bit. I had no idea that WebAssign was being so stupid. Oh, okay, we'll put the answer here, 1/4. Next test, we use the same answer. Okay, so ultraviolet, so X times, and I'm going to put it in parentheses, so we just keep everything separate, minus voodoo, which would be 5x, 5 to the x, sorry, natural log of 5, times dx. And we don't need to put in this. I want you to simplify it, take the antiderivative, clean it up. I watched a scary movie last night. No, the night before. And it was scary. It had a bunch of pop-ups. Whew.
Things that just jump out at you?
Yes. The Faith of Anna Carter. I think that's what it was called. It was scary. It had about 5 or 6, and buddy, if I'd been drinking anything, it would have been in the floor. I mean, you ever seen that thing on Facebook where this car is going down the road and a pop-up comes up? It had about 5 or 6 of those in there. It was about a possession of a little girl. And it had a bunch of those creepy crawly things, you know, like on the Rings, where they crawling on the wall and they crawling out of the TV and stuff. That's some good stuff. I love that. So they're all deformed. What is it, Grudge? And Grudge 2. The Grudge, huh? Yeah, that's some wicked stuff. And now they got a scary movie out now that's got the Grudge girl, the girl that's all deformed, against the Rings girl out of the whale. I'm gonna watch that one when my son goes to sleep. We watched John Wick 2 last night. That's pretty good. Keanu Reeves, I like Keanu Reeves. He's kind of out there, but I like him as far as, you know, when he's in a movie, it's pretty much going to be he's kind of like the Sean Connerys and the Tommy Lee Jones and the Denzel Washingtons. When he's in a movie, he's going to It's the Rings, man. Alright. So that'd be, you could do x, 5 to the x, over natural log of 5. What can we pull out of this? Natural log of 5. That's right, class. Why can we pull out the natural log of 5? It's a number. And that's one thing that you have to remember about these things, especially when you move into DPQ. You've got to remember that the natural log of a number, e to the number, all those things, 1/5. You've got to remember that in DPQ because those things are all scattered throughout the problems in DPQ, and you got to get used to pulling that stuff out. I'm sorry, what?
Wouldn't it be 1 over natural log of 5?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what the note says, but I have notes.
And wouldn't it be distributed?
Distributed.
Oh,
You talking about distributed?
yeah, there we go.
Distributed.
Yeah. That,
Okay, yeah. So that's going to give us x, 5 to the x, over natural log of 5, minus 1 over natural log of 5. And then what is the derivative of 5 to the x? Or the antiderivative of 5 to the x? 5 to the x over what? Don't forget to press C. Whatever. And then that's going to be x times 5 to the x over natural log of 5 minus 5 to the x over natural log of 5, what? Quantity squared. Let's see. Now that's the finished form. You could factor out, you could get a common denominator, or you could factor out a 5 to the x over natural log of 5. You could do that. So there's possibly 3 answers there. Now I forgot to ask y'all didn't see any good movies this weekend? You saw John Wick 2? I hated that he tore that Mustang up.
I saw a stupid movie.
You saw a stupid movie.
Yeah, it was Mad Max.
Oh, I watched all the Mad Max movies. They're all good. There ain't no stupid Mad Max movie.
the new one?
Yeah, Fury Road is real good. Which one did you watch, Faith?
Fury Road.
Fury Road. Yeah, you have to watch that several times before you understand what's going on. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, what the? Yeah. But you have to watch it several times. And it would help to have a couple of shots in you when you watch it. So.
Yeah, you might need a couple shots, because
What?
I couldn't stand it.
I'm sorry, what?
I couldn't stand it, but I'm not an action-y person either. I didn't like
Okay,
John
I
Wick.
understand. That's about like me watching a comedy. I can't get into comedies. They have to be a very good comedian for me to like. The last comedy guy I thought was actually worth the crap was Eddie Murphy. That could actually act and be funny at the same time. Bill Murray was like that. Dan Aykroyd was like that. But these guys they got now, they're not creative at all. They're just stupid and run into walls and be drunk, and they're not funny at all. They're not. I'm sorry. Okay, let's do another one. Let's discourage. We got to discourage you somewhere. Just like those 2 or 3 guys, they try to be funny. They're not funny. One of them is that short guy, the short dumpy guy that played on War Dogs. What's his name? He was actually somewhat funny in The Wolf of Wall Street with Titanic guy. What's his name? DiCaprio. That was a funny movie. The Wolf of Wall Street. Have y'all seen that movie? That was funny. I had done past another stage in being high. The trying to, what do you say? Drooling on myself. He took too many pills, and he was all like this, and he drooling all over himself. That was hilarious. and he crawled to his Lamborghini or whatever, and he was talking to his wife, and she goes, "Where are you?" And he was like, he couldn't talk. So he drove home in the condition that he was, and when he turned around and looked at his car was in perfect condition. Well, the next day, the cop shows up, knocks on the door, and says, "Is this your car?" And the car was just totally mangled. It was. You gotta watch that movie. You gotta see that. That was fun. That's one of those movies where you don't think it's funny, but it turns out to be really funny. And he played. I don't like DiCaprio at all, but he was funny in that movie. That was hilarious. Okay, I'll shut up.
I think my wife hated that movie mainly because it just reminded me of her show.
Oh my God, that's not good at all. Or meaning his wife?
Huh?
Did his wife remind her of natural log of x over x squared dx? Okay, remember calculus is manipulation. Manipulation's a problem, so you got to manipulate this problem a little bit before you start. And of course, if you were in my Calc 1 class and now you're in my Calc 2 class, you know exactly what to do. If you don't, then keep your mouth shut and don't say anything. After today, I'll assign some homework in the substitution by parts, integration by parts, and expect a few, at least 20, if I can find them, because you need to be able to do this without even thinking about it. Because this is really, you had 4 or 5 basic laws of derivatives. Well, this is technically your second law of integration. What's the manipulation you're going to do here? Bring it up, exactly. 1 to 2. Natural, you could say x to the negative 2. Natural log of x dx. All right, now you've got it in that form, you can figure out what you want to do. Now, I'm going to pick the natural log of x to be u. Why? Why am I going to pick the natural log of x to be u? Okay, she didn't do the volume, but she did the enunciation, so I could make it out. Because the derivative of the natural log of x is 1 over x. Yesterday they were having a polycom meeting and I was having class, so I let my class go early and I came in on the meeting. It's kind of like Iron Man. Iron Man 2, when he comes in on the meeting during the Senate meeting and he steals their boards. Well, while they were having their meeting, I pulled up the meeting and came in on their meeting, and one of the teachers went, "How are you doing that?" I was like, "What do you mean, how am I doing it? I'm doing it from my phone." "You can do Skype from your phone?" "Yes." "Where are you right now?" "I'm in AC 102. "Pan around, let's see it." Okay? That is so cool. I thought that was hilarious. So u is equal to the natural log of x. Therefore, du is equal to 1 over x dx. dv is equal to x to the negative 2 dx. So what is v? Well, you add 1, right? Yes, Hubert. So that's going to be x to the what? Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1 over what? Negative 1, which becomes 1 over what? Negative 1 over x, or 1 over negative x, whatever you want to say. So ultraviolet minus voodoo. And some of you may be seeing that what you're doing is you're actually whittling down a 2-part problem. You're whittling it down to a what? A 1-part problem. Kind of like you do with problems in general. Natural log of x times negative 1 over x minus antiderivative of negative 1 over x times 1 over x dx. I'm going to let y'all finish it out. Don't forget to integrate at 2 and 1. I'm not concerned about that. You can do that on the calculator. All I care about is the setup on this one. Again, play on signs and play on, your algebra skills, because pretty much you don't have to really do anything else after that. So negative natural log of x, 1 over x. Well, what can we do with that minus and that minus? Make it a what? 1 over x squared dx. So negative natural log of x times 1 over x plus the antiderivative of x to the negative 2 dx, negative natural log of x, 1 over x, plus, well, that's going to give us x to the what? Negative 1 over negative 1 plus c. Well, don't do plus c because we've got a decimal interval. So that's negative natural log of x over x plus or minus 1 over what? X. And you could say negative natural log of x minus 1 all over x evaluated at what?
2 and 1.
2 and 1. And that's the setup. Now you could have this also. You could have any one of those answers as a setup.
Is the log natural of x over x also evaluated?
That leaves something out.
No, but it does not be because the integral with the second half of the part. Or the
Okay, rephrase the question. I didn't.
Wouldn't you only evaluate 1 over x from 1 to 3?
No, you took the integral. Yeah, you take the integral of the whole thing. I meant you would put 2 and 1 in the whole thing.
Okay.
Because it's actually, you're taking the integral of this right here.
Okay.
Okay? Even though you don't have an integral sign in front of this part right here, you still do it.
Okay.
And you can plug that in. And that's just the math with the calculator. All right, now let's move on to a different manipulation. And those of you that had me for Calc 1, you've seen this before, but some of you haven't. Mr. Wisenhunt, just bringing back any memories, or have you ever been over this before? Okay. Well, good. That means that means that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. All right, x squared sine of x dx. You might want to write small on this one. It's going to take up a good bit of page. Go ahead and set it up. Ultraviolet minus vivid. U is equal to x squared. Two x dx. dv is equal to the sine of x dx. V is equal to, what's the cosine again? Negative cosine? Yeah, negative cosine. All right, I started you off now. This is a test question. It will be on the test. If you can do 2 or 3 of these problems, then you can handle pretty much the test, because you can do the first manipulation, which is just basic manipulation. You remember this one? How about any of my Skype Calc 1 students? You remember this one? I'll take that as a no. You suck.
Yes, we do, Hubert.
Oh, you remember it, or you suck?
No, we remember it.
Oh, you remember. Okay. At least one person pays attention. The other ones are asleep. Like Squidward. That's where I get the you suck from. You stay. 3 cheers for Squidward. Hip hip. Boo. You stink. I've seen a thing on Facebook that says all liberals need to take the drink bleach challenge. And then I got another one. It's got a picture of a ring with a plug-in receptacle, which you plug into the plug-in receptacle. And it says, pass these out and let nature take its course. Pass these out to liberals and let nature take its course. Notice I'm not saying Democrats, I'm saying liberals. There's a difference. Just like the difference between Republicans and the KKK, that's the same difference between liberals and Democrats.
That's what the KKK is, Democrat.
Well, it was started by the Democrats, but we're not supposed to say that. That's some of those things that the press covers up.
It's because we're in the South.
Yep. You're not supposed to pass around stuff like that. You know, it's called, what is it, the truth? Alternative facts, yes, thank you. We need to pass around alternative facts, not the truth. All right, so ultraviolet, so x squared minus cosine of x minus voodoo, which would be negative cosine of x times what? 2x dx. And I'm just going to put that. All right, so there's your new term, expression. And I'm just going to rewrite it. Negative x squared cosine of x. That negative comes out, and that 2 comes out, right? So I'm going to bring that out. So that'll be a positive what? 2 antiderivative of cosine of x times what? X dx. All right, now you got to do something here. And I would make u is equal to x.
Is this one I keep going?
Don't keep going and going, but it wraps around until you can solve it algebraically. U equals x du is equal to 1 dx. dv is equal to the cosine of x dx. And what is the antiderivative of the cosine of x? I'm sorry, what? I hope you're right, because I can't remember. I got to open my notes. Yep. So now, negative x squared cosine of x plus 2, and I'm going to do ultraviolet x sine of x minus antiderivative sine of x times what? dx. Make sure I wrote that down right. So negative x squared cosine of x plus 2 x sine of x minus, so what's the antiderivative of the sine of x? Huh? Negative cosine of x, which would make this what? positive cosine of x Okay, this one is not the one that wraps around. I thought it was. This one's just long and drawn out. So, what's our final answer? Negative x squared cosine of x plus 2x sine of x plus 2 cosine of x plus c. This is the next one that does that. Oh yeah. So that's just a, but if you think about it, you're still not talking about a lot of integration. I mean, you're talking about half integration and half algebra. All right, now here's the one that's called a looper. It loops. And if you don't catch it, you could loop it 5 or 6 times before you figure out, oh no, I've messed up. So you need to be careful and you need to watch what you're doing. So, here's the problem. The antiderivative of e to the x, get staying right with the mouse, sine of x dx. All right, get started on it. And if I was you, I would put equals right here. Okay. Put the equals right here. And keep writing this next line, and then say equals, and then do your ultraviolet minus doo-doo over here. What kind of tablet is that, Mr. Wizenot? We're talking about getting me one so I can write.
Oh,
You like it? We'll take the roll on. You're all working on that. Take y'all good 20 minutes to do it. No, I'm just kidding. Then when Miss Sheep gets through, she's gonna come up here and show y'all how to do it. Right, Miss Sheep? No, thank you. My second semester, I had a jerk in one of my classes, and he's one of those jerks that knew everything. So there was about 6 people in the classroom, and I just got tired of hearing his mouth. So I finally said, okay, we're going to come up here and show everybody how to do it, how to do the problem. And I'll start with you. And Told him he had one of those gray athletic shirts on. You know, they used to be your gym shirts, that kind of a gray type. It was real light gray. Well, come to find out, Mr. Know-It-All had a couple of nervous tics. He stuttered when he got nervous, and he sweat like a stuck pig when he got nervous. So when he got up in front of everybody, he stuttered, and it took him like 15 minutes to get a word out. You ever seen my cousin Jimmy? And his light gray shirt was a dark charcoal when he sat back down. Do you think I had any more problems out of him? No. He never set up a peep after that. I had no idea that was going to happen when I called him up there. Never forget that. I know, I'm a bastard. You can't get anything out of those Skype people. They just don't want to talk. Or they're having their mother or the girlfriend come in and beat up on them, one of the two. What are you doing? You're supposed to be at school. I just can't imagine my mother talking to me like that. It might not have been his mother, it might have been his girlfriend, I don't know. It'd been worse if his girlfriend, you know. Today's Tuesday. Ahmed is Skyping. Anderson is Skyping. Bradshaw is Skyping. Edwards is here. Grant is here. She left. Huth is here. Khalil is Skyping. Nabay is here. Patel is here. Peer is Skyping. Scobie is Skyping. Sheep is here. Silver's here. Thompson is here. Skyping. Tucker is Skyping. Wizenot's here. Williams. Did Williams ever come in? He didn't come in, but I'll see if he's still. He went back to sleep. He said, "To hell with y'all."
I think he's Mr. Hubert.
Huh?
I think he's on. He just messaged me. He said, "Can you add me?"
I don't see him. I'm gonna try to pull him up again. Yeah, he's been at it for an hour. He went back to sleep. Oh, I can't blame him. I'm not gonna be too hard on him. If it was Faith, I'd be hard on Faith, but I'm not gonna be hard on him. Can't get nothing out of him. Y'all give up yet? All right, Miss She, you want to show us how to do it? Oh. You gonna pass? All right, I'm gonna make you, make sure you got the sign of X. So you, I'm gonna go over here and do the U is equal to sign of X. U is equal to the sine of X. Therefore, du is equal to what? Derivative sine is what? Cosine of X dx. dv is equal to what? E to the X. I'll do this one for you. V is equal to E to the X. So now I'm going to take that information and plug it in. Ultraviolet, so that'd be sine of X, E to the X. So E to the X, sine of X, minus voodoo, E to the X, cosine of X dx. Right? What? negative cosine theta. Which would make this what? Positive. No, it's supposed to be cosine. It's right. I had it right. Who said that? You're gonna fail. U is equal to the sine of x. Du is equal to. Yeah, you just be quiet. Don't say anything. You're censored from here on out. All right, now you got enough. You got another one you need to do. So go ahead and work on it. So I'm going to rewrite it. Antiderivative of e to the x sine of x dx is equal to e to the x sine of x minus, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to do a second one, and I'm going to say u is equal to the cosine of x, therefore du is equal to what? The derivative of cosine is the
negative sine of x.
Say negative sine, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, do y'all have your list out? Remember I gave y'all those lists? No, I threw it away. I think I still got some of those things up here somewhere so I can antagonize y'all with them. Why did I run those lists off for y'all? Because printing is just so hard these days. And Googling, looking up something is just what? It's what? It's just so difficult. Oh yeah, I ran y'all some of these off too, didn't I? Yeah, but why pull those things out? Just let the teacher do it. No, let's confuse the teacher by projecting our bad memory. Well, I don't see it, but I handed them out. It was the derivatives and the antiderivatives of the trigonometric functions. And there they are right there. See, that's what y'all should have out right now. I know, that's all right, what's B going to be? Or dB? E to the x. Okay. B is equal to e to the x. Y'all just imagine that. Ultraviolet, which will be cosine, and I'm going to put brackets here, cosine of x e to the x minus antiderivative voodoo, which is going to be e to the x, and then what? Negative what? Negative sine of x dx. I'm going to put a bracket there. Rewrite e to the x sine of x dx, that sounds familiar, equals e to the x sine of x minus brackets cosine x e to the x. What does that negative do right here? Because this is multiplication. That negative can what? Come out. And then you have the antiderivative of e to the x sine of x dx. We got one of those over here. But I'm going to go ahead and rewrite again because I've still got to distribute what? That negative. So that's going to be, we're doing algebra right now. E to the x sine of x dx equals e to the x sine of x minus cosine, and we can do e to the x there, e to the x cosine of x minus the antiderivative of e to the x sine of x dx. Now these two guys are what? This guy and this guy are what? Common terms, similar terms, whatever you want to call them. So technically, I could bring this guy over here and we can solve for what? The antiderivative. So if I bring a -1 antiderivative over here, and this is a 1 right here, because we're doing algebra right now, we're not doing any math. This is a -1. If this was -1x, and I brought the -1x over here, then that would be x plus x, which would be what? 2 antiderivative of e to the x sine of x dx is equal to e to the x sine of x minus e to the x cosine of x. And now I divide by what? Divide by 2. So the antiderivative of e to the x sine of x dx is equal to, and you could say 1/2, and then e to the x sine of x minus e to the x cosine of x. And yes, you could factor out an e to the x plus c. That's your answer. So remember, when you got an e to the x times a trigonometric function, another problem I was going to do today, but I'm not now. Where is it? I'll let y'all do this one for homework or for your notes, because you're going to have one of these on the test. Dude, you might want to do x to the third. I don't know if it'll come out the same or not. X to the third sine of 3x. The antiderivative, I'll write it down because no matter how many times I say it. What do you say? The antiderivative, what I say? X to the third sine of 3x dx. So there's one you can do. It'll either be like the last problem we did, or it'll be like this. So you've got two types of integration by parts. You've got the integration by parts basic. Then you've got the integration by parts long and drawn out, which is this problem, right? Yeah. Which is this problem. And then you have the integration by parts that is called looping. Now, if you keep on going down here, right here, you're going to keep on going and get a longer and longer problem, and you're not going to, and then you're going to quit. So you got to watch for this right here. And when you see that, the loop stops, and you bring that over, and it becomes 2, and then you just divide both sides by 2. Technically, you could actually delete this right here. Yep. And say the derivative, the antiderivative of this is this. Okay? Comprende?
Comprende.
No, got one person. Good. I'm going to show you a little bit of trigonometric substitution, not substitution, just u and du. And that doesn't take us into the trigonometric substitution, which we will do, I don't know what the day is, so whenever y'all come back. Thursday, right? How about the antiderivative, sine fifth x, sine 5 to the fifth of x. Hush, if you come up here and write with a mouse, come up here and do it. Don't be making fun of my mouse writing. Cosine of x dx. Okay, now I want you to pick a u, and I want you to pick, and after you pick a u, I want you to find the derivative. I would make u equal to the sine of x. Why do we want to make u is equal to the sine of x? Well, what's beside the dx? The cosine. So you don't want to mess with that because that is the derivative, the cosine of dx. So what you're trying to do is see if the first one or the second one is a derivative of what? The first one. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. And if it is, then you have just the power rule, basic power rule that you learned back in the first part of integration. So if u is equal to the sine of x, du is equal to what?
Cosine.
Derivative of the cosine, I meant the sine. Cosine x dx. Well, it looks like to me that we have u, what? Du, only it's u to the what? It's u to the fifth. So I'm taking the antiderivative of u to the fifth du, which is equal to u to the sixth over what? Sixth, which is equal to u is sine of x over 6, or 1/6 sine 6x plus 6. This is just some manipulation problems using substitution, and the substitution can be u du, or the substitution can be identities. This is when everybody's supposed to go, oh. Kind of like Napoleon Dynamite. Oh gosh, I love that movie. Especially when they throw those stakes and get Napoleon upside the head on bicycle. That's hilarious. Alright. Sine squared of x, cosine squared of x dx. Sine squared of x, cosine squared of x dx. Now before you look at this, before you start doing anything, you can't use du. You can't use that. Why can't you? That's not going to help. Because you can't have du raised to the second power. That's what this is. If u is equal to sine of x, what's du? Cosine of x dx. Well, you don't have cosine of x dx. You have what? Cosine squared x dx. Well, just erase this. Just erase the 2 and you'll be all right. No, it ain't that simple. So you've got to go back to your, hey, I think y'all have one of these. Oh, it's on the back. There it is. I even made it simpler for y'all. I put the derivatives and the antiderivatives on the back of this sheet. Huh? What did she say?
Did you give that to us?
Yes, I did. That might have been the day you were drunk and in the ditch. You know you have that problem. You go to group on Tuesday night. You know that, right? Group. I said that to one person one time, and this is an older woman, she said, I don't think you need to dwell in my personal life. I'm like, you don't need to tell me that. It's a joke. Come on. Yeah, I Googled it, and I copied and pasted it, and then I actually printed it out. It took all of what? I think it was 45 seconds. But you know, it's real hard to do that stuff at home, isn't it? Now, you're going to use cosine squared. Sine squared, cosine squared. You're not going to use Pythagorean. This one is not set up for the Pythagorean, although you could try it. You could work it out by putting sine squared. Sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared. You could put that in there. And cosine squared is equal to 1 minus sine squared. But it's really not going to help you out. The ones that's going to help you out, I'm trying to find them. Well, should be on here. I think it's called the double angle. You just have to look at it. I can't remember. I'm going to write it on here, but I can't find it on the sheet. 1 minus cosine of 2x over 2. 1 plus cosine of 2x over 2. 1 minus cosine of 2x over 2 times 1 plus cosine of 2x over 2 dx. Okay, work with that. And Tyler, which one am I using? I can't find it on here. I'm looking for it. Okay, there it is. Half angle identities. Remember, these are squared. Okay, so you got to apply the square to the square root. See it? You see it? Just look at half angle identities and highlight the first one and the second. Skype people, I passed out a blue identity sheet to y'all. Do y'all remember me passing that out to y'all?
Yeah, I've got mine.
Good job. You actually kept it? Yeah.
Yeah, just put it in my drawer.
I'll tell you what. All right, let's see. I can't. The only way I can do it is to hit video. Stop presenting. Hit video. Start my video. Okay, I don't see me. Do y'all see the sheet?
No.
Oh, Mr. Williams finally came in. Good morning, Mr. Williams. How was breakfast?
Good morning. It was good.
It was good. Did you go to IHOP or go to Hardee's? You know, tell us about your breakfast time. Y'all don't see a video, do you? No, it's supposed to be. It's on right there. Why isn't it? It says it's on. Do y'all see any video of me? Okay, they're not going to talk. Oh well.
I don't see anything like that. I just see your still picture.
Huh?
I just see your still picture, and there's nothing
Yeah,
going on
you go through all
in the
that.
Skype screen.
Okay. Anyway, I'd have to take a picture of it and send it. I'm not going to do that. But for those of you that have it, down at the top, it's got trigonometry in blue and white letters, or white letters, blue background, laws and identities. And on the back, it's got the integration and derivatives of the 6 trigonometric functions. Do y'all have that? Okay. One person said they had it in their drawer, so that's good. The rest of them, I don't know if they're awake or not. Okay, so
Screen now, Hubert.
you got it? So you have it, Faith?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
I know, I'm talking about the handout. Do you have the handout?
With the volumes, discs, and washers, I have that one. But
No, it says trigonometry,
last semester.
trigonometry, and it's blue with white letters, and it's got all the identities on one page, and then on the back it's got the antiderivatives and the derivatives of the 6 trigonometric functions plus a couple.
Okay, no, I don't think I have it.
Okay, well,
Maybe I was Skyping in that day.
I can't remember, but I don't know. I'll have to scan this and maybe I can email it to the class or something, or y'all can just get your butt to class and get it here. I'm just kidding. All right, so
Okay.
that's what I used. I used the half-angle identities. Let me get back to my white screen. And I substituted in, and that's what this is, getting into the substitution. I substituted in the half-angle identities. The only thing it's missing is the square root. Well, why is the square root missing? Because these are squared, so the square takes out the square root, and that's why you got these two. Capiche? All right, finish it. What do you mean finish it? You pull out the 1/4. And then you have shortcut number what? Number 3. Out of the shortcuts, it's going to haunt you forever. A plus B and A minus B. Oh, I'm sorry, that's algebra. Why do people suck at calculus? Because they suck at algebra. Ahmed Takur, are you still there? Evidently I lost him. Let me add him back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Did you come back in yourself or what?
Yeah, I came back like an hour ago.
Well, good. I'm glad that you could come back in on your own. That's good. Mr. Williams, how did you come back in? Or did you accept my invitation?
Somebody called me. I'm not sure who it was.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad y'all were able to get back in without me having to bring you in. Because when I minimize this screen, I can't do anything until y'all speak up. And if you're not in there, you can't speak up. So I'm glad you were able to come in. All right. So, what's 1/2 times 1/2? 1/4. So this 1/4, and I'll just put a 1 right here. Well, let me do this. I'll highlight. I'm going to pull that out, and that'll give me 1/4 antiderivative of A minus B times what? A plus B. And that's going to give me shortcut number 3, which is say A squared minus what? A squared minus B squared, Hubert. That's right, class. Glad you know your shortcuts. We did review those in the algebra review, did we not? 1/4 1 squared minus cosine of 2x quantity squared dx. All right, finish it out. If you can't finish it out, then it's a good indicator that you are a failure. I'll do the first part for you. 1 squared is 1. You can use the double angle identity again, or the half angle identity again, with the cosine of 2x quantity squared. Just not have the radical. But be careful, because what's 2 squared? What is 2 squared? 4. So that's not cosine of 2x. It's going to be 1 plus the cosine of 4x over 2. Because this right here, let me go back to pre-algebra for a second. Or not pre-algebra. Somebody tell me what this answer is right here. This is back in time. Back in time. There we go. What's that answer?
4x squared.
4x squared. What do people forget to do? They forget to square the 2. Don't forget to do that here. Technically, you have cosine of 4x what? Squared. Or cosine squared of 4x, whichever one you want to write. Don't forget to do that, because what you do is you get 1/4 integration of 1 dx, I guess, yeah, dx, minus integration of what? Be 1, we said the cosine, where's my cosine up there? There it is, cosine, 1 plus cosine, so that'd be 1 plus cosine of what? 4x over what? 2 dx. The first thing people ask is, why is there a 2 here? Not 4. The identity doesn't say x squared down here, it says 2. Let's look at identity. Look at that half angle identity. Now, what was your question? Because of the 2. That's why. Because you can't use the Pythagorean identity, because the Pythagorean identity mainly goes with cosine squared of x. Anytime you have a 2 in front of it or whatever, that's why you use the half angles. Now then you have to have antiderivative. If you took the antiderivative, you have to have u du. Remember we just did that. Go back. Hold on, one question at a time. Right here. Yeah, but in order for you to do derivative, you could, but what was your question, Faye?
I was trying to figure out how the negative changed into a positive when it was 1 squared minus cosine 2x squared, and when you went ahead, oh, because it's squared.
Where? Right here?
Yes.
Shortcut number 3.
Right. But then the one down below, it says 1 plus cosine 4x over 2.
This goes from here using your half angle identities, which is on that blue sheet.
Okay. So it automatically changed from a negative to a positive?
Okay. What'd you say, Faith? And then we'll get to your question. What'd you say, Faith?
So it automatically changed from a negative to a positive?
That negative right here is right there.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
If this had been the sine of 2x, then this would be 1 minus cosine of 4x over 2.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
Okay. Now to answer your question, when you see the cosine of 2x, you would have to use the chain rule, and you'd have to use the power rule. Because you've got cosine of 2x, that's 2, so that'd be 2 sine, or what's the antiderivative of cosine? Negative sine? So that'd be negative sine of cosine of 2x. Negative sine would be 2 negative sine of x, right? Or negative 2 sine of x. And then it would be squared. And that's 2 steps right there that you don't want to. Yes, and I'm getting rid of the square. Oh, I should have just told you that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I play football. Sorry. I should have just told you that. Now what? Well, 1/4, and you can do, what's the antiderivative of dx? X. And you still got this right here, but you've got 1 over 2 plus the cosine of 4x over 2. You could break it up into 2. Making sure that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did. So break this up into 1/2 dx plus antiderivative cosine of 4x dx. And now that you have the cosine of 4x, you can do substitution, and you can take the antiderivative of the cosine. Now I think I want to do something a little bit different here. Instead of breaking it up into 1/2 plus, I think I want to do this. Hold on a second. You can do it either way. Put a 1/2 here, and that would be 1 dx, and a 1/2 here, and that would be cosine 4x. I pulled the 1/2 out right here, and that would leave you with 1 plus what? cosine of 4x. That's what I did. I pulled the 1/2 out. You could do it either way. Okay. All right, so 1/4 x minus 1/2, and what's the antiderivative of dx? X plus 1/2. Now, if you made this u, if you made u equal to 4x, what's du? 4 what? Do we have a dx? Yes. Do we have? We don't have a what? We don't have a 4, so that means we've got to add what? A 1/4 out front. Let me do that in a different color because some of y'all are going to get confused and blame me. So I'm going to do the 4. And 1/4 right there. So now we've got cosine of u what? What's that? Du. Cosine of u du. What's the antiderivative of the cosine of u du? Negative what? Negative sine of u, which would be sine of what? Sine of 4x. What? The antiderivative of the cosine is sine. You're right. My bad. I did sorry. I told you a long time ago, these two always give me trouble, so I'm not going to. And there's your. And now you take the 1/4 and distribute it, and what do we get? You get 1/4 x plus what? 1/8 x Yeah, and you can, yeah, I want to make sure I combine the common denominator. This you can combine, what is that, 2/8? Right? So 2/8 minus 1/8 is what? Oh, and this would be 1/30 what? What's 4 times 8? 32nd. So my final answer is 2/8 minus 1/8 is 1/8 x plus 1/32 sine of 4x plus what? Don't forget to add plus c. Manipulation. Now I'm not going to put any homework for substitution yet because we're kind of rolling into substitution with this, and we'll hit the substitution hard Thursday, just like we hit the integration by parts a little bit harder today. I'll put the integration by parts homework up as soon as I get through with students here, and as soon as I upload the video, I'll do the homework when everybody's gone, and I can concentrate. All right, comprende?
Brenda.
All right, I'm going to shut down not the class, I'm going to shut down